researchers discovered a little-known pesticide is present in both Cheerios and Quaker Oats.
Grains. They are the foundation of our food pyramid, the base of our bread, the heart of our breakfast cereals. We are told to eat more whole grains for our health. But what if the grains we trust are delivering a daily dose of toxic chemicals? I started investigating the American grain industry, and what I found was a system riddled with pesticides, heavy metals, and corporate cover-ups. The wholesome image on the box is a carefully constructed lie, and the truth is being buried one lawsuit at a time. Let's go. Number 10. Quaker Oats. We begin with a brand that is practically synonymous with oatmeal, Quaker Oats. For over 140 years, the friendly Quaker man has been a symbol of trust and quality. But in 2024, that trust was shattered by a series of class action lawsuits alleging that Quaker's most popular products are contaminated with a dangerous pesticide called chlormequat. The lawsuit, Daniel Tepper versus the Quaker Oats Company, filed in the Northern District of Illinois. Case number 1:24-CV-02055 alleges that Quaker knowingly sold products containing this chemical without any warning to consumers. Chlormequat is a plant growth regulator used to prevent grain crops from lodging or bending over. In the United States, it is not approved for use on food crops. However, the EPA has been allowing imported oats treated with chlormequat into the country, and the chemical is now showing up in our food. A February 2024 peer-reviewed study by the Environmental Working Group, SWAS.UUG, detected chlormequat in a number of Quaker products, including their old-fashioned oats, instant oatmeal, and granola bars. The health effects of chlormequat on humans are not well studied, but animal studies have linked it to reproductive harm and developmental problems. The fact that this chemical is present in foods we feed our children is a massive red flag. Quaker markets its products as delicious and nutritious to help support your healthy lifestyle, but the lawsuit argues that this is deceptive advertising. Consumers like the plaintiff Daniel Tepper would not have purchased these products or would have paid less for them had they known they were consuming a potentially toxic pesticide. The case was dismissed on a technicality regarding EPA limits, but the fact remains, a chemical not approved for use on our food isn't our food, and the company selling it to us isn't telling us. Number 9. Cheerios, General Mills. Next up is another breakfast icon, Cheerios. Marketed as a heart-healthy first food for babies, Cheerios has built its brand on an image of wholesome goodness. But like Quaker, General Mills is now facing a class action lawsuit over chlormequat contamination. The lawsuit, Nikais et al. Versus General Mills Inc., filed in the Northern District of California, case number 3:24-CV-00367, makes almost identical claims to the Quaker case. The plaintiffs, Katrina and Benjamin Nikais, allege that they purchased Cheerios believing it to be a healthy choice for their family, only to discover it contained a dangerous pesticide. The EWG study that rocked the food world in February 2024 found chlormequat in Cheerios and other oat-based foods. The lawsuit points out the hypocrisy of General Mills marketing its products as healthy while failing to disclose the presence of a chemical linked to reproductive and developmental harm in animals. What's most disturbing is how this chemical is getting into our food supply in the first place. The EPA, under pressure from chemical industry lobbyists, has been quietly allowing higher and higher levels of chlormequat on imported oats. This is a classic example of corporate interests being prioritized over public health. The chemical companies profit, the food giants get cheaper ingredients, and we, the consumers, are left to deal with the consequences. General Mills, a company with over $19 billion in annual revenue, has the resources to source clean ingredients. They could choose to buy oats from farmers who don't use chlormequat, but they don't. Instead, they hide behind lax government regulations and continue to sell contaminated products to an unsuspecting public. The lawsuit seeks to hold them accountable for this deception and to force them to either remove the chemical or disclose its presence on the label. If you're enjoying the video, hit the hype button and subscribe. What's your go-to breakfast? Let me know in the comments. Number 8. Kind Healthy Grains, Dark Chocolate Clusters. At number 8, we have a brand that has built its entire identity around being a healthy, wholesome alternative, Kind. Their granola clusters are advertised as being made with super grains and being kind for your body. But a March 2026 class action lawsuit alleges that this is a lie. The lawsuit, Burnett vs. Kind LLC, filed in the Northern District of California, case number 3:26-CV-00440, claims that Kind's Healthy Grains dark chocolate clusters contain dangerous levels of lead. Independent testing commissioned by the plaintiff's lawyers found that the granola contained more than 4 times the maximum allowable dose of lead under California's Proposition 65. Lead is a potent neurotoxin that can cause a host of health problems, especially in children, including developmental delays, learning disabilities, and behavioral problems. There is no safe level of lead exposure. The plaintiff, Jade Burnett, argues that she and other consumers were deceived by Kind's marketing. They paid a premium for a product they believed was healthy, but instead got a product contaminated with a toxic heavy metal. The lawsuit accuses Kind of deceptive advertising, breach of warranty, and unjust enrichment. It seeks to force Kind to either remove the lead from its products or to disclose its presence on the label. This case highlights a major problem in the food industry: the use of vague, unregulated terms like healthy and natural. These words have no legal definition, and companies use them to create a false impression of quality. Kind built a billion-dollar brand on the back of this deception. They sold us a story about being a different kind of food company, one that cared about its customers. But when the lab results came in, they were just like everyone else, selling a contaminated product and hoping no one would notice. Number 7. Gold Medal Flour, General Mills. We return to General Mills for our next entry. In April 2023, the company issued a massive recall for millions of bags of its gold medal, unbleached and bleached all-purpose flour due to potential Salmonella infantis contamination. The recall was triggered after product sampling found the bacteria in a 5-pound bag of flour. The recall covered 2, 5, and 10-pound bags with better if used by dates of March 27th, 2024 and March 28, 2024. The FDA and CDC launched an investigation and linked the contaminated flour to a multi-state outbreak of Salmonella infections. Salmonella is a nasty bacterium that can cause severe food poisoning, with symptoms including diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps. In young children, the elderly, and people with weakened immune systems, it can be life-threatening. What's alarming about this recall is that it's not an isolated incident. General Mills has a history of flour contamination. In 2016, a major E. coli outbreak was linked to their flour, sickening dozens of people across the country. This pattern of contamination suggests a systemic problem with General Mills' food safety practices. They are one of the largest food companies in the world, with a vast and complex supply chain. But that's no excuse for repeatedly putting their customers at risk. Flour is a raw agricultural product, and it can be contaminated with bacteria from the field or during processing. That's why health officials warn against eating raw dough or batter. But when a company as large as General Mills has repeated outbreaks linked to its flour, it raises serious questions about their commitment to food safety. Are they doing enough to prevent contamination? Are they properly cleaning their equipment? Are they testing their products rigorously enough? The 2023 recall suggests that the answer to these questions is no. Number 6. Nature Valley, General Mills. Yes, General Mills is on the list again. This time it's for their Nature Valley granola bars. In 2018, General Mills was forced to remove the 100% natural claim from its Nature Valley products after a lawsuit revealed that they contained glyphosate, the active ingredient in the weed killer Roundup. The lawsuit, filed by several consumer groups, argued that a product containing a synthetic chemical like glyphosate cannot be considered natural. General Mills fought the lawsuit for years, but eventually agreed to a settlement. They didn't admit any wrongdoing, but they did agree to stop using the 100% natural claim on their packaging. This was a major victory for consumers, and it set an important precedent. It showed that companies can't just use words like natural as a marketing gimmick. If a product contains synthetic chemicals, it's not natural, and companies can be held accountable for misleading their customers. The settlement was a wake-up call for the entire food industry, and it led to a wave of similar lawsuits against other companies making bogus, natural claims. But the story doesn't end there. While General Mills may have removed the natural claim, they haven't removed the glyphosate. The chemical is still present in their products. Glyphosate has been linked to cancer by the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer, and thousands of people have sued Monsanto, now Bayer, the maker of Roundup, alleging that the weed killer caused their non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The fact that this chemical is still in our food and in products marketed as healthy snacks for kids is a national disgrace. If this is opening your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe. Which brand surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. Number 5. Bob's Red Mill. Bob's Red Mill has cultivated an image as a wholesome, trustworthy brand, a favorite in health food stores across the country. But in 2018, the company was hit with a class action lawsuit alleging that its oat products contained glyphosate. The lawsuit, filed in San Francisco, claimed that Bob's Red Mill knowingly hid the presence of the weed killer from its customers. The company's response was telling. Instead of addressing the contamination, they attacked the testing methods and tried to downplay the health risks of glyphosate. This is a classic move from the corporate playbook. Deny, deflect, and defend. But the facts are the facts. Glyphosate is a probable human carcinogen, and it doesn't belong in our food. The lawsuit was eventually settled, but the damage to Bob's Red Mill's reputation was done. The case exposed the company as just another corporate player, willing to put profits ahead of public health. It showed that even brands that appear to be healthy and wholesome can be hiding a dirty secret. It's a reminder that we can't trust marketing claims and that we have to do our own research to find out what's really in our food. What's particularly frustrating about the Bob's Red Mill case is that the company had a real opportunity to be a leader. They could have committed to sourcing glyphosate-free oats. They could have been transparent with their customers about the challenges of sourcing clean ingredients. Instead, they chose to follow the path of least resistance. And in doing so, they betrayed the trust of millions of consumers who believed in their brand. Number 4. Kodiak Cakes. Kodiak Cakes has exploded in popularity in recent years, with its high-protein pancake and waffle mixes becoming a staple in fitness-conscious households. But a 2024 study by Mamavation, a popular wellness blog and community, found that Kodiak Cakes products contained glyphosate. The study, which was conducted in partnership with an EPA-certified laboratory, found detectable levels of the weed killer in Kodiak Cakes Buttermilk Power Cakes mix. This is a major blow to a brand that has built its reputation on being a healthy and wholesome choice. Kodiak Cakes markets its products as being made with 100% whole grains and being packed with protein. But the presence of glyphosate calls that healthy image into question. Consumers who are buying Kodiak Cakes are trying to make a healthy choice. They are paying a premium for a product they believe is better for them. The fact that they are unknowingly consuming a probable carcinogen is a betrayal of that trust. The Mamavation study is part of a growing body of evidence showing that glyphosate is widespread in our food supply. The chemical is used on a massive scale in industrial agriculture, and it's showing up in everything from breakfast cereals to beer. The EPA has been slow to act and has been criticized for being too cozy with the chemical industry, but consumers are starting to wake up. They are demanding to know what's in their food, and they are holding companies accountable for selling contaminated products. The Kodiak Cakes case is a perfect example of this. The company has not yet been sued, but the Mamavation study has put them on notice. Consumers are watching, and they are not going to tolerate being sold a contaminated product. If Kodiak Cakes wants to maintain its reputation as a healthy brand, it needs to take action. It needs to commit to sourcing glyphosate-free grains, and it needs to be transparent with its customers about its efforts to do so. Number 3. Post Cereals. Post Holdings is a food giant with a portfolio of brands that includes shredded wheat, grape nuts, and honey bunches of oats. In 2019, the company was hit with a class action lawsuit alleging that its shredded wheat cereals were contaminated with glyphosate. The lawsuit, filed in New York, claimed that Post was deceiving consumers by marketing its shredded wheat as 100% natural when it contained a synthetic chemical. The lawsuit was part of a wave of litigation that followed the 2018 Nature Valley settlement. Consumers were starting to realize that the natural label was meaningless, and they were holding companies accountable for their deceptive marketing. Post, like General Mills, had built its brand on an image of wholesome goodness. The idea that its iconic shredded wheat, a product that has been around for over a century, was contaminated with a weed killer was a shock to many consumers. Post eventually settled the lawsuit, agreeing to remove the 100% natural claim from its packaging. But like General Mills, they didn't remove the glyphosate. The chemical is still in their products. This is a recurring theme in the food industry. Companies will make cosmetic changes to their marketing, but they won't make the fundamental changes to their supply chain that are needed to actually solve the problem. It's a cynical game of cat and mouse. The companies make a claim, they get sued, they settle, they change the claim, and the cycle continues. All the while we, the consumers, are left to navigate a confusing and deceptive marketplace. We are forced to become amateur detectives, trying to figure out which brands we can trust and which ones are lying to us. It's a system that is designed to fail, and it's a system that is putting our health at risk. Number 2. Kellogg's cereals. Kellogg's is another food giant with a long history of marketing its products to children. Frosted Flakes and Apple Jacks are staples in many American households. But in 2018, the Environmental Working Group, EWG, released a report that found glyphosate in a number of Kellogg's products. The report, which sent shockwaves through the food industry, found that 31 out of 45 products made with conventionally grown oats tested positive for glyphosate, and 5 of those products had levels of glyphosate that were higher than what the EWG considers safe for children. Kellogg's response was predictable. They issued a statement saying that their food is safe and that they comply with all government regulations. But that's not the point. The point is that a probable carcinogen is in our food and in products that are marketed to children. The fact that the levels are below the government's inadequate safety standards is irrelevant. The standards are too low, and they are not protective of public health. The EWG report was a wake-up call for many parents. They were horrified to learn that the breakfast cereals they were feeding their children were contaminated with a weed killer. The report led to a wave of consumer activism, with parents demanding that Kellogg's and other food companies remove glyphosate from their products. Some companies, like General Mills, have made commitments to phase out the use of glyphosate as a drying agent. But Kellogg's has been slow to act. This is a company that has a long and sordid history of marketing unhealthy products to children. For decades, they have used cartoon characters and sugary cereals to hook kids on their products. The fact that they are now also exposing them to a probable carcinogen is a new low. It's a sign that this is a company that has lost its moral compass, and that it is willing to do whatever it takes to make a profit, even if it means putting our children's health at risk. Number 1. Pepperidge Farm. At number 1, we have a brand that is a subsidiary of the Campbell's Soup Company, Pepperidge Farm. In April 2025, the company was forced to recall hundreds of cases of its bread products due to potential glass fragment contamination. The recall was initiated after a consumer found a piece of glass in a loaf of bread. The FDA classified the recall as a Class 2, which means that the product could cause temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences. This is a terrifying prospect. The idea that you could be making a sandwich for your child and unknowingly be feeding them a piece of glass is the stuff of nightmares. And it's a sign of a major failure in Pepperidge Farm's food safety systems. How does glass get into a loaf of bread? It's a question that the company has yet to answer. The recall covered a wide range of Pepperidge Farm products, including their iconic white bread, whole wheat bread, and rye bread. The products were sold in stores across the country. The recall was a major embarrassment for Pepperidge Farm, a brand that has built its reputation on quality and nostalgia. The company's slogan is Pepperidge Farm Remembers, but in this case, it seems they forgot to check for glass in their bread. This incident is a stark reminder that even the most trusted brands can have major food safety failures. We tend to think of food contamination in terms of bacteria and pesticides, but physical contaminants like glass and plastic can be just as dangerous, and they are often a sign of a much larger problem. A piece of glass in a loaf of bread is not just an accident, it's a symptom of a broken system, a system that is failing to protect us from harm. So, what can you do? How can you protect yourself and your family from the toxic chemicals and contaminants that are lurking in our food supply? The good news is that there are companies that are doing it right. Here are 4 brands that you can trust. Number 1, Nature's Path. This family-owned company has been making organic food for over 30 years. They are committed to sustainability and transparency, and they have a wide range of products that are certified organic and non-GMO. Their products are also glyphosate-free. Number 2, 1 Degree Organic Foods. This company takes transparency to a whole new level. They have a QR code on every package that allows you to trace the ingredients back to the farm where they were grown. All of their products are certified organic, non-GMO, and glyphosate-free. Number 3, Food for Life. This company is best known for its Ezekiel 4-9 sprouted grain bread. Their products are made with organic sprouted grains, and they are free from pesticides, herbicides, and other chemicals. They are also a great option for people who are looking for a gluten-free bread. Number 4, Lundberg Family Farms. We mentioned them in our rice video, but they are worth mentioning again. This family-owned farm has been growing organic rice and other grains for over 80 years. They are committed to sustainable farming practices, and they have a wide range of products that are certified organic, non-GMO, and gluten-free. Check your pantry tonight. If you have any of the brands we talked about, toss them. It's not worth the risk. And the next time you go to the grocery store, remember that the marketing on the box is a lie. Do your own research and choose brands that are committed to transparency and food safety. Your health and the health of your family depends on it. Let me know in the comments which of these brands you're throwing out tonight. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.